So many people fell for it. So many people thought, oh, Tucker Carlson's finally getting it. Yes, he's getting it. He's speaking out against Venezuela. He is criticizing Donald Trump. It's all bullshit. It's all theater. He is a con man, just like Marjorie Taylor Greene, just like some of these other MAGA influencers and MAGA politicians. The only thing they're doing is trying to appeal to components of the cult during this lame duck, or should I call it dementia duck, tenure of President dipshit. Here we have Tucker Carlson, who last week was with Megyn Kelly criticizing Venezuela policy. We even did a video on it. Oh my God, Megyn Kelly and Tucker Carlson are criticizing Trump. It's all bullshit. Play the clip. Here's Trump last Friday walking through the White House for his big sit down with Big Oil. And there is Tucker Carlson, shit-eating grin, ear to ear, clapping like a goddamn seal. The MAGA media influence has no conviction. They have no courage in their conviction. It's all theater. It's all staged. It's all for clicks. They don't care, and they like every single thing that this man is doing.
You know, here's the thing about these MAGA influencers. He's sitting there, he's Tucker Carlson being he's so proud that he's there and he's clapping for Donald Trump, and he goes on his podcast and, you know, may bash him or whatever. Then you see the private text messages during the Dominion lawsuit. We saw how much he hates Trump. He despises him. He thinks he's the worst, but it goes back to, I can have personal gain. I might be able to salvage part of the MAGA base to come with me if doing what I want to do, the proximity to power. They have zero ability to think about anybody but themselves. I mean, it is a cult of insecure men that think they're alpha males, that all they think about is themselves. It's unbelievable that he would be sitting there clapping and going on after all the shit he's talked about him. That would be like if you and I were clapping for Jesse Waters when he walked by. That's how he talks about Donald Trump, the way we talk about Jesse Waters. And there is just no ability to feel shame or hypocrisy, to know I am a fucking hypocrite if I go in there and do that, because it's all about what more can I get for me.
Isn't this a hallmark of MAGA, though? Isn't
Totally.
this every single MAGA politician, even personal MAGA people we know? Aren't they all exactly like Tucker Carlson is here? I don't think it's unbelievable. It's the most believable thing I've ever seen, because these MAGA people are just like this. J.D. Vance, Trump is America's Hitler. Oh my God, lower the temperature. Don't call us Nazis. Wah. I mean, this is the most performative cult, authoritarian cult of personality. And it's just the only thing that's new about this is that it's happening in the United States of America. And now, you guys, in this year of 2026, last year they were kind of like, don't call us white nationalists. That's mean. And you guys are all Antifa terrorists. Well, now, like, the mask is off. The oligarchs are full blown. The tech oligarchs are being far more white nationalists. The Palantir owners, it's just some very disturbing stuff. Elon Musk, the mask, you know, first he was like, it wasn't a Nazi salute. Now he's just full blown retweeting all of this horrible anti-Semitic stuff all over Twitter. And now the regime itself is copying Nazi propaganda verbatim across so many of their accounts. Pop this up. So the Homeland Security, of course, that's Kristi Noem. We'll have our home again. Join ice.gov. And Melanie D'Argio says, this isn't a coincidence. They posted this because it is from a famous far-right white nationalist folk anthem. They'll complain that they're called racists and fascists while going out on their way to make sure people know they're racists and fascist. And this is a really important part of all of this for me, of our resistance. So there is wokeness and the language police, and that can be very annoying. Okay. And some of this MAGA stuff is a backlash from that, from the black president, you know, wealth inequality, et cetera. But now we have moved from wokeness to dark wokeness. And you should call every triple Trumper in your personal life, because change starts locally, folks. Every triple Trumper, every person you know who still supports this man and votes for this regime, they are racists, they are fascists, and they are white nationalists. There are no caveats. There are no yes, but. There are no exceptions to this. This isn't politics as normal and we disagree about taxes, or we disagree about abortion, or we disagree about minor issues in the voting block. These people want other people rounded up, shot in the face, put in concentration camps, and all of this messaging about our homeland and our homeland. This is implicitly white nationalist Nazi propaganda. And it's our government, the United States of America, with the people who still support this regime. They are the Nazis, they are the fascists, and they are the titty babies that when you call them what they are and you put a mirror to their face, they freak out and claim, oh, wow, we're victims of these horrible white liberal women with their microphones calling us exactly what we are. And I will not stop doing it, because I believe in human rights. I believe in universal human rights. I don't give a fuck if somebody's an American citizen or not. Torturing and bullying people and shooting people's faces off in the streets of America. You white Christians, you triple Trumpers with your, I like his tax policy. I don't like his personality, Donald Trump, but I sure do love his policies. Well, you telling me that you love his policies tells me that you're a fucking sociopathic Nazi. That's what it tells me. And this is how you know all of the MAGA. If you hear Megyn Kelly, if you hear some of these right-wing podcasters criticize some of the policies of Donald Trump, they're able to do so because the strong man is not strong anymore and he's frail. And so they're able to pick on that frailty in a way, but they never pick on this guy, ever. Put this up. Stephen Miller, the Nazi extraordinaire, he says, he tweets this yesterday, Americans voting overwhelmingly for mass deportation. Congress passed laws requiring it and then passed new legislation to fully fund it. The response of the Democrat Party and its activists has been to support and orchestrate violent resistance against federal law enforcement. If these MAGA personalities were serious, if Marjorie Taylor Greene were serious, there would be a lot of critiques about such a 1,000% false and Nazi propaganda tweet from the person that everybody in the White House calls Donald Trump's boss and Mr. Prime Minister. But he does all of this stuff with impunity, all of it with impunity.
You know, it's just the lying and the propaganda from Stephen Miller. And what's interesting to me is this is anecdotal, but the people that I know that are in the MAGA sphere think he is so gross. Yet he has to be out front all the time. They give Donald Trump a pass because they blame it on Stephen Miller, and not realizing that Donald Trump should have the authority to fire Stephen Miller. But nobody pushes back on Stephen Miller because they know he's in charge. MAGA knows it, like a congressman. They know that Stephen Miller is calling all the shots. You read article after article after article about it. So pushing back on Stephen Miller would be worse than pushing back on Donald Trump, because Donald Trump is worried about the ballroom and his new, the marble slabs. He's not worried about this, but Stephen Miller, he's one cruel motherfucker that's diabolical, and he will come after these people and he'll tell Trump, get on your live social and post about these people. So
Let's face it, don't we all think Stephen Miller is the one typing up the true social posts. I mean, you know, what I see this man is he's so handled. Donald Trump is
Oh,
so handled,
yes.
and
No, yeah.
everybody around him knows exactly how to play him. They
Mhm.
know exactly how to stroke the ego to get everything on. He is the most manipulated man in the world, Donald Trump, surrounded by a bunch of depraved Nazis that have real ambitions
Right.
for the United States to be this white nationalist regime. The problem Stephen Miller is going to face after Trump is dead, I'm hoping it's a huge trial and imprisonment, but
Right.
the main if the MAGA movement survives, the main problem he's going to face is he's a Jewish man, and a lot of the money behind the Supreme Court and the Heritage Foundation and Big Oil and all of these things, they're Christian nationalists. And so for Stephen Miller to think that he's going to be safe around all of these white nationalist Nazis, I have news for you. They include the Jews in people they wish to deport. Just go look at who Elon Musk follows, all of these white nationalist Nazis,
Right.
and read their tweets. And they're very implicit that, yeah, we're going to do all of these deportations, and that includes the Jews. I mean, it's just horrible, horrible stuff. And so that's going to be something that he's going to, you know, come head on with. And it's just, wow. Speaking of horrible people, Bill Ackman is a billionaire who was always a Democrat, had always donated to Democrats. And after October 7th, he goes full tilt MAGA. And he's the one who writes these long, drawn out, horrific tweets
Vomiting.
online, will not shut the fuck up. He sends the murderer, the guy who murdered Renee Good, $10,000 on GoFundMe. My question is, why does this murderer need a GoFundMe?
Right.
So, or is this just congratulations money? So here we have William Ackman, and he reposted the fundraiser on his Twitter. And then you can look here, the top donor is William Ackman, and he gave $10,000. And this to me is something that parallels with the problem with corporate Democrats. And follow me here. Bill Ackman voted as a Democrat, was a Democrat, but he was a corporate Democrat. It was my pocketbook, my money, but I don't want to be mean to the gays, more civilized about his money than, say, the right wing Christians are. And just like that, he flipped, just like that. And now he is a foot soldier for Donald Trump when 3 years ago he was not a Trumper. And now he is a total Trumper, giving a cold blooded murderer $10,000. And this is why people that don't have conviction in politics cannot be trusted. This is why we sniff out the Cory Bookers of the world who can feign conviction. And then when confronted about dying and executed Palestinian children, gets blurry. And I think that this is a lesson in this whole thing here, is when you see people that are, oh, I'm a moderate, both sides are extreme, they're so malleable to either one of these. Like, I have more respect for the Trump cultist that lives in rural America, that's been left over, got a shitty American education, and really believes that this man is the patriot that they think he is, than I do the country club Republicans or corporate Democrats that allow for a lot of egregious human rights violations to happen in their day-to-day lives, and they never speak up on it, ever. So I just thought that was wild. And then after that pumps, Bill Ackman gets online. He's kissing Trump's ass all the time. Pop this up. So this is Ronald Reagan's budget director, David Stockman. Ronald Reagan, you guys, of the Republican Party. He tweets Bill Ackman and says, "Hey, Bill, stop kissing his ass. When it comes to economics, he's an unhinged world gig of statist humbug, hoodoo, and ham-handed hammering of free markets and economic liberty. The very idea of government intervention in the credit card market is neither worthy nor important. It's just a stupid attempt to address the real affordability problem that is caused by massive deficits and endless money printing at the Fed, both of which the Donald wants more of. The truth is, there is absolutely nothing redeeming about the dog's breakfast of protectionism, easy money, Keynesian deficits, and crony capitalism that passes for Trump-onomics. So obviously, Bill Ackman is a prick. And even Ronald Reagan's inner circle thinks he's a prick. But Bill Ackman is not alone. This type of person that rides the middle, that can easily be swayed, no conviction, none, no conviction. That is my biggest pet peeve.
Seems like every year for decades, my number one resolution was weight loss. And with so many options for weight loss treatment plans, it can be hard to know what's the best choice. Through HERS, which is a great program that I have used, you're connected with a medical provider who determines if treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your treatment plan is personalized to support you in reaching your goals. Plus, you can access a range of treatment options like oral medication kits or GLP-1 injectables.
Listener, feel like your best self again. Visit forhers.com/IHIP to get a personalized, affordable plan that gets you. That's forhers.com/IHIP. forhers.com/IHIP. Weight loss by HERS is not available everywhere. Compounded drug products are not approved or evaluated for safety, effectiveness, or quality by the FDA. Prescription required. See website for full details, important safety information, and restrictions. Actual price depends on product and plan purchased.
Well, I think they have conviction to themselves and getting what they want. But they don't give a flying fuck about anybody else. And I really do. I keep rolling in my head. What does this man need this money for? They said it's in that little thing. It said, well, his family has to go into hiding because of the radical left. Bullshit. I think this is for a lawyer, I would think. But I mean, does it not amaze you? I mean, if you're Bill Ackman, and you know that she was murdered and you're smart enough, I mean, he has critical thinking. He's a dipshit and he's a prick, but he has critical thinking. He was so blatant to do it because he wants Donald Trump's, favoritism from him, which of course I'm sure he'll get because he has money. But it's just these people 10 years from now, that's still going to be on the fucking internet. You still put money in a GoFundMe of somebody that murdered an innocent woman. It's just the short-sightedness really surprises me.
Yeah. And I think what the problem with Bill Ackman is he's able to suspend critical thinking. And where does this come from? Where does this suspension of critical thinking come from? How could he have been rational, and then suddenly suspend critical thinking? And I'll tell you exactly what it is. He's a hardcore Zionist. And when you are able to critically think about so many things, and then when you get to one subject, say, oh, it's fine that the IDF is doing a genocide. It's fine that the IDF is bombing schools and hospitals. And then he suspends critical thinking. It's not that big of a jump if you're able to demonize people at some part of your brain. If you make space for that somewhere, then you then start making more space and more space and more space and more space. So this beautiful woman, Renee Good, with her wife and her dog in the back car, exercising their First Amendment right. It's not that big of a stretch for Bill Ackman to then keep moving the goalpost and keep moving the goalpost. And that's the fool's errand of the Zionists. That's the fool's errand of a lot of these people in the MAGA movement. You think you're the special one. Right. And you think your groups of people are these special groups of people. And when you compromise anybody's humanity and you compromise anybody's human rights, then the goalposts keep moving, and then you allow for more and more and more depravity. And I think this has, been well studied in, other fascist regimes in Nazi Germany. And we are at the beginning stages of this police state. And these oligarchs, particularly Bill Ackman, is showing exactly where he stands with this. And he stands on the side of fascists and Nazis, which is interesting considering one of his big motivating forces is Israel, and considering the way Hitler started operating in the early stages of his Nazi regime is just like this, sending people door to door, shooting people. And the fact that some people are not connecting this and advocating for the Renee Goods of the world and advocating for those, we covered earlier, these kids, these American citizens, the people at CCOT, the people at Alligator Alcatraz, the people that have cancer that are in ICE custody, and you don't advocate for them, then you're just a fucking monster. You're no different than the Nazis. And that's something that's going to be heartbreaking as we move forward in this country, is to just see how many people are this depraved. And I want to leave you all with one thing that I think is super duper important. The Democratic Party goes the way of John Roberts and just rubber stamps all of this shit. Pop this up, Kylie. Schumer and Jeffries refused to back growing Democratic calls to defund ICE. Amid outrage over the killing of Renee Good, Democratic leaders are declining to use their leverage to fight the agency. We do not have an opposition party. We do not have people that will stand up to the Bill Ackmans of the world. We don't have people that will stand up to the Benjamin Netanyahus of the world. We have corporate Democrats who have the same donors as MAGA. And in my opinion, there's no difference in what Hakeem Jeffries and Chuckles are doing right now than what John Roberts did when he rubber stamped the immunity for the president of the United States. There are passive ways of going along with this, and there are aggressive ways of going along with this. And at this point, any passive capitulation, in my opinion, is aggressive. All right, that's all we have for this episode. Please like and subscribe, and we'll be back later with more news.